Man, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy. We back here doing another video. Man, we got Legends Productions. What NBA players really said in the 2026 regular season. Full trash talk. Let's get straight to it.
There were many fights between players and even punches were thrown. In today's video, I'll be recapping the best trash talking clips from the entire regular season. These moments go from October all the way to the last month of April. As always, there will be a mix of lip reading audio and even interviews to show as much context as possible. I was able to capture so much footage this season, so if you guys want a part 2, make sure to let me know in the comments. Lastly, I have to add my commentary to avoid copyright issues, so I hope you guys understand. Now without further ado, let's get into it. To start, let's talk about the most disrespectful moment of the season. It took place in a game between the Rockets and the Suns, and Dillon Brooks was in the middle of it. With 7 minutes left in the second, Durant tried to fight for positioning, but Brooks held on to him. The refs ended up calling a foul, and Brooks couldn't believe it. Mind you, Durant had a slow start offensively, so Brooks wanted to get in his head. That's when he said this.
Brooks, who you think you is, Brooks? You were never that guy, okay? You can't fuck with me, man. Who the hell does Brooks think he is? You talking like you a top player in the league saying this shit.
Brooks kept repeating the same thing to Durant, so he had to stand up for himself. He said, "My worst season is better than your best." Brooks replied, "I don't give a f***." Now, if you look at the
You should give a fuck. You see, there's levels to this.
Numbers, Durant is actually right. You really cannot make this up. But anyways, Brooks kept chirping, which is when things took a complete turn. After Durant got the ball, he literally broke his ankles not once but twice.
Mercy.
This angle makes it even worse for Brooks, and Durant had to let him know. He said, "Get your bitch ass up."
Damn.
That's how personal things were getting, and Brooks went right back at Durant. He tried to get his revenge, and after drawing this foul, he said this.
You talking about flopping and you just flopped right then and there.
Durant pretty much told him to be quiet, but Brooks just kept going. He lives for these kinds of moments, but it was Durant who had the final word. Not only did he mock Brooks anytime he could, but Durant also taunted the Suns crowd after hitting this dagger 3. You can tell Durant really wanted this win, and the Suns couldn't respond. The Rockets ended up taking this game, and Durant went even further with his comments.
But looked like the chatter with Dillon kind of got you maybe to go to even another place.
No.
Okay.
Not at all. I'm not giving him that. You don't get that type of credit with me. Maybe some other guys that may turn up because he talked to him, but he's not that important or special to me to get me going, you know what I'm saying? I wake up going, getting ready to play, you know what I'm saying? It's not that much of a concern to me.
Can I use AI to help generate ideas when I...
In other words, Durant thought Brooks was all talk, which is exactly how Luka Doncic felt about Dennis Schroeder. With 40 seconds left in the third, Luka missed a step-back 3. Schroeder grabbed the long rebound, trying to push the ball. However, Luka swiped at him, and Schroeder didn't like it. He confronted Luka, saying that Luka swiped at him, and Schroeder didn't.
He slapped your leg?
He
like, what are you
confronted
angry
Luka,
for?
saying that he'll slap him if he does it again. Knowing Luka, he didn't back down. Then, as Schroeder walked to the line, Luka challenged him. The Kings missed the free throw, and Schroeder had more to say.
Damn.
Even Coach Doug Christie tried to defend Schroeder, but Luka said, "He's talking too much. I love it." Just a few minutes later, a timeout was called, and Schroeder kept pointing at Luka, trying to warn him, but Luka wasn't bothered one bit.
Dennis fumbled the bag, screwed him. What was the contract? 100 and... No, it was... What, 80 mil? 4-year, 80 mil deal? I said meal, but... Mil deal? Something
Luka
like that?
was talking about the 4-year, $84 million contract Shooter turned down from the Lakers. He ended
Stupid.
up settling for
And
just
then
a
got a
$5
1-year,
million deal
$5.19
with
million
Boston,
deal.
so Luka really got him there.
From the
However,
bag.
Shooter wasn't done. Just 40 minutes after the game, he tried to strike Luka in the face. Apparently, he didn't land a
I
punch
forgot.
after the
I
game.
remember
He
this.
tried to strike Luka in the face. Apparently he didn't land a punch, but still got suspended for 3 games. Shooter even posted this comment under the report, hinting the media was hiding something. Luka ended up leaving the arena with his dad, while DeAndre Ayton stepped in to separate Shooter.
Well, it's
That's
a
how
pretty
bad
touching
things
game.
got,
We know
but
you
this
didn't.
wasn't the only time a player literally wanted to fight someone. While getting ready for the first ever NBA game in Berlin, Vince Williams confronted Ja
Oh, I
Morant
saw
during
this.
Team
Remember
Shoot-Around.
this.
This came around the time Ja was on the trading block, so there was already some
That
tension
motherfucker
within
did
the
not
locker
wanna stay on
room.
this
That's
team.
when Vince Williams called him out, and Ja immediately responded. As you see, a coach tried to cool
Grizzlies
things
finna win a
off, but
maximum
Williams
20
pushed him
games next
away.
year.
Ja kept going, and things got intense.
Ничего себе. Контент.
Morant kept talking back to Williams while the same coach tried to understand what was going on. Just a few hours later, Ja was ruled out to play, and he's still on bad terms with the Grizzlies front office. Crazy how things played out, but at least Ja didn't get disrespected by a bench warmer. Myron Garner, who was on a 2-way contract with Miami for most of the season, thought it was a good idea to trash talk Klay Thompson. This came in the 3rd quarter after Klay had a rough shooting night. Garner called him a bum several times, and Klay wasn't going for it. You can even see Wiggins trying to warn Garner, but it was too late.
Like, why? How you gonna be a fucking bench warmer talking shit to a Hall of Famer?
You already know Klay's always going to mention those accolades, but the intensity
he's never
continued.
gonna stop
After
letting
cutting
us
the
down.
lead to 3, Klay put it right at Garner. That resulted in a technical foul, which Klay couldn't believe.
That was a weak
He was
ass take.
tired of the disrespect, so Garner actually apologized after the game. Caron Butler forced him, and you can even see Klay being hesitant about it. Pretty embarrassing to say the least, just like getting mushed in the face by another
Damn, they
grown
made him
man.
apologize,
With
it's
7 minutes
crazy.
left in the 3rd, Duren was trying to box out Diabate, but was literally being held the entire time. Duren didn't like that, so he quickly let the refs know. He kept talking to
That
them
man
for
about
a
to get
while
traded.
and warned Diabate to not do it again. He also told him to try him, but Diabate wasn't going for it. Duren pushed him back, and the tension was
Bro, that
on.
man Duren
After
looks swole as
Diabate
hell.
gave him a hard foul, this happened.
Damn.
This has to be one of the most
Yo,
disrespectful
full
things
palm
ever,
in
so
your face
Diabate
is
tried to
crazy.
fight back with the punch.
Missed.
Duren dodged it, but Diabate wanted more. He kept chasing him and said this to Duren. Miles Bridges also decided to intervene and wanted all the smoke with Duren. Now, here's when things take a complete
Oh,
turn.
you gonna see a
Isaiah
big ol'
Stewart literally
freaking
ran
running
from
back
his
coming
bench
through.
and got onto the court. He tried to punch Bridges, who retaliated by wrestling him.
That man
It looked
Bridges
like
tried to
Stewart
take him
actually
down.
connected here, but this other angle showed that he was grabbing his hair the entire time.
Motherfucker
The two
grabbing
were
hair?
eventually
Grown-ass man
separated, and
grabbing
Stewart
hair.
almost did a LeBron part 2. Alsar Thompson literally had to play defense against his own teammate, and Cade Cunningham was pissed. He told Stewart, "You're not doing that." Stewart tried to explain himself, but Cade just told him to relax. On the other end, Diabate was literally being held back in the stands. Security had to intervene, and LaMelo Ball had his back. Still, people were trying to escort Diabate off the floor, who tried to go back for more.
That man was not letting that work. He wanted that get back immediately.
Driving is what drives me.
the road. It's always felt like home.
Like I said earlier, you can never let a man palm your face, so
Ever,
Diabate
bro.
had a right to be this angry. As expected, Stewart and Duran were ejected from the game, and they were actually happy about it. Duran literally held his jersey to the crowd and said, "That's how we do." Then as
And
Stewart
that's
was
how your ass about to get traded out of Detroit because you play like shit in the playoffs, my brother.
cooling off, he said this.
Y'all expected him to stay on the bench, you know, pretty shit. Fuck, I was drafted to Detroit.
In other
He was
words,
drafted to
Stewart didn't
protect
care
players.
about this suspension and was just trying to defend his teammate. However, that right there wasn't as crazy as what Jimmy Butler said to Danny Wolf. With 45 seconds left in the third, Butler took him one-on-one. Prior to this, Wolf was talking some trash, so Butler wanted to make a statement. He crossed him over and drew an and-one opportunity. Butler was pumped, saying this to Wolf. This right here reminds me when Montrezl Harrell
they
said
really
the
didn't
same
wanna
thing
trade
to
him
Luka
for,
Doncic. The backlash he received was crazy, so I'm surprised Butler got away with it. Someone
But
who
they
didn't get
traded for
off free,
AD.
however, was Alperen
about AD in
Şengün.
recent
With
history.
6 minutes left in the fourth, the Rockets were down big to the Celtics. Şengün had just missed a defensive assignment, so there was already some frustration. That's when he took Luka Garza one-on-one and no foul was called. Şengün couldn't believe it, and this happened.
Damn.
Şengün repeated the same phrase as he ended up getting kicked out. The Celtics bench was loving it, pretty much mocking Şengün. Amen Thompson tried to get answers and the ref said, "He can't call me that." Amen told her to just call the foul, but the ref said no. Now the funniest part about this is how surprised Şengün was. He didn't agree with the ejection and said, "What? Yo, that's crazy." He kept talking to the ref, who just ignored him the whole time. That's when Şengün said, "You a bitch," one last
Damn.
time. Mind you, the team was celebrating National Girls and Women in Sports Day, so the timing couldn't have been worse. Şengün really went too far, just like Jordan Poole did when KCP confronted him. With 3
KCP
minutes
better come
left
to
in the
Philly.
second, Poole launched the three during a dead ball. For some reason, KCP pushed
Yeah,
it
I don't know why he
mid-air and
pushed him,
Poole
there's no
landed
reason.
near the
But
scores table.
Also, Poole didn't need to do all that.
The referees held a review and KCP was pissed. Poole thought the foul was intentional, which is when things got intense. I don't think I've ever seen Poole this animated before, and a lot of people felt the same way. People are really never going to let this Draymond
Yeah,
thing
Draymond
go, and I'm
punched.
surprised Poole didn't say anything back. When it came to Austin Reeves, on the other hand, he didn't tolerate any disrespect. In a game against the Thunder, Luka Doncic suffered a hamstring injury on this play. He was
This is gonna haunt me every fucking time seeing this shit, bro.
in a lot of pain
Let
and even
LeBron
had to lay
feed for
down
his
for a
fucking
bit.
self in the
Mind you,
playoffs.
the game was already a blowout, so Thunder fans didn't waste any time. While the medical staff tried to check up on Luka, this happened.
Now you don't want to play defense. Shut the
Shut your corny ass up. That's why y'all got bounced out by the Spurs.
Shut up. It's fucking hurt. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah, I can't. Fuck you. Fuck you. Nah, what the hell?
Shut up. It's fucking hurt. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Nah, I ain't bro. Reeves, if I knew you, I would have said some worse shit than that. Not gonna
Now
lie.
Reeves tried to go back for more, but the fan didn't stop.
Oh yeah, he's real hurt. Yeah, he's real hurt. What are you gonna do? Yeah, he's real hurt. What are you gonna do?
Bron just standing there. This dude, Bron, just debated this with me. Yeah, I gotta get the fuck up out of here. It's time to go to Philly.
He's not even hurt. I'm not talking to him.
How you gonna know? How you know when someone's hurt or not, buddy? How you gonna tell that? And then boom, next day he was out for the hamstring and was out for the playoffs. Oh, OKC fans, bro.
He's not even hurt.
Don't tell him not to curse me. He's not even hurt. He's not even hurt.
You could
How you gonna tell? Lord, OKC fans, they win one chip and talk crazy, bro.
tell LeBron really tried to control himself here and said this to security. I'm not gonna lie, the fan didn't have to say all that, so I'm glad Reed
Man, fuck that fan. AR, you should have went worse on him, bro. Fuck the fine.
stood up for Luka. You're definitely going to see stuff like this in the playoffs,
Alright,
and
damn.
with so many other matchups going on, you can actually benefit from it.
Why just drive cars when you can build your career around them? At Universal Technical Institute, you train.
That's where Novik comes in, sponsoring today's video. This is a sports prediction market where you go head to head with other users instead of a sportsbook, which makes it way more fair. There's no hidden fees, and when you win, you keep 100% of the profit. There are so many opportunities to make money with the NBA playoffs and even other sports, so make sure to download Novik today. The script also backed up his teammate when Dylan Brooks disrespected
Dylan
Nas
Brooks again,
Reed.
bro.
With a minute left in the second, Brooks took Nas Reed one-on-one but held his own defensively. Brooks missed, and Mark Williams grabbed the offensive rebound. He ended up making an and-one, and Brooks was hyped. He was letting Reed know about it, saying that he can't mess with anyone in Phoenix. However, that's when
What the
Reed
hell do you feel like? Bro, if y'all didn't have Devin Booker, y'all would be a top 5 bottom team in the league.
took things personal. Just 20
Brooks
seconds
calling someone
later,
else
Brooks
sorry, bro.
confronted him, but Reed called him a pussy. Double technical fouls were called, and more words were exchanged. That's how personal things got, so Anthony Edwards got involved. In the third quarter, the Wolves went on a run and got back into the game. Edwards made sure to go right at Brooks as he made this three over him. A timeout was called, and Edwards said this.
Oh, bro, I can't wait to see Ant and LaMelo, bro. Shit about to be electric.
Unfortunately, those words didn't age well as Brooks helped Phoenix win a thriller.
Damn, they got
After the
really
game,
nice
he
Reed,
made these
bruh.
comments to both Edwards and Reed.
Yeah, they were talking too early, and I love that when guys get too confident, and then once the pressure starts heating up, their eyes start getting big, and they start getting scared, and the person who was talking too much made the 2 turnovers and missed the shot. So.
This is classic Dylan Brooks right here, and it's crazy how he always gets into everyone's head. Ryan Rollins tried to do something similar to Russell Westbrook, but it went completely wrong. With 30 seconds left, the Bucks had a 17-point lead. They had just missed a 3, but Rollins grabbed the offensive rebound and went up for a dunk. That's when Westbrook decided to contest the shot, giving Rollins a black eye. He was confused by the foul as Westbrook pointed at the clock, basically implying the game wasn't over, but Rollins decided to talk back. As Rollins shot the second free throw, Westbrook had
Hold
more
on,
to
but
say.
hold on. How you gonna? No. How is Westbrook gonna say game's not over to that? But when someone scores at the end of it, when there's no shot clock, he gets all mad and shit. Talking about hold the damn ball. Like
Hey.
what? Hopefully I said
On
that
the
right,
way
bro,
back,
'cause,
the
like,
two kept talking,
he
and
gets-
Westbrook wasn't letting it go.
plays
Zach
defense
LaVine
like
ended
that,
up
but
drawing a
gets
foul,
mad when
and the
people
banter
run up the score
continued.
at the end of the
This
game.
time, the Bucks bench decided to intervene, and Westbrook clapped back. Westbrook really doesn't back down from anyone, and just look at this man's eye right
Damn.
here. Rollins really took that like a man, and Trent's reaction was hilarious. Now, Rollins wasn't the only player who broke the unwritten rule. Giannis Antetokounmpo also did the same thing against the Bulls, and
Bro,
Nikola
this shit is
Vucevic
so,
was
like,
pissed.
stupid.
With 9 seconds left, the Bucks
mad
were up
for running
7
up the
and were
score,
expected to dribble the clock out. That's until Giannis
mad for
decided
what,
to do a
bro?
windmill dunk in transition. He wanted to light some fire on his team as he also stared down Kevin Huerter. That didn't sit well with Nikola Vucevic as he quickly approached Giannis. He said,
get your-
"Don't do that. Don't do
Who
that,
are
bro."
you to be, bro? Get your trash ass out of here. Who are you to
Giannis
be
wasn't
talking
bothered
shit?
one bit, replying, Kobe White also confronted Giannis, and Bobby Portis got in the mix. White even tried to grab Portis by his
Bobby and Giannis in Miami is
neck, and things escalated. Gary Trent literally ran to defend his teammates and wanted all the smoke with White. He said, "You trying to throw hands? You're trying to throw hands?" Portis became more animated in the conversation and yelled this. The funny thing is that nobody on the Bulls said anything back. They just walked away, and Vucevic decided to respond during his post-game interview.
Don't be something stupid. Why? There's no way he said this. About the report that the Bulls didn't want to trade for him? Buddy, who the hell wants to go to Chicago and play basketball? This ain't the 90s with Michael Jordan where y'all winning. Y'all are trash. Y'all are garbage. Why the fuck would he want to go there? What the hell? Who the hell? You think the Bulls are a top 3 team or some shit talking like this? The Bulls are garbage. Who the fuck? Alright, Vucevic, you just... I don't know who you think you is.
The fact that Vucevic thought he wouldn't be a part of that trade package is hilarious, but at least
no one gives a fuck. Giannis don't want to go to Chicago.
He didn't disrespect his own coach. That's exactly what Draymond Green did when Steve Kerr called him out against the Magic. With a few minutes into the second half, Draymond was frustrated with the officiating. He thought the Warriors weren't getting any calls, and turnovers started to pop.
Steph don't get no calls.
Look, Curry threw the ball out of bounds after Draymond didn't roll, and then Draymond passed it to the opposing team. A clear path foul was called, and Draymond was pissed. He went directly to the officials and let them know. Kerr tried to get Draymond to move on, but he didn't listen. He shook his head in disappointment as the Magic scored another bucket in the paint. Kerr called the timeout, and Draymond kept talking to the referees. Pat Spencer tried to hold him back, but Draymond just wasn't having it. That's when Steve Kerr held him accountable during the timeout, and with Draymond amped up, he cursed him back. Kerr knew where this was heading, so he stood up for himself. He said,
I'm so surprised
"Hey
they haven't
Draymond,
traded
if you don't
Draymond.
want me to talk to you, then go home." Moses Moody tried to cool Draymond off, saying,
I'm surprised
"Come on, man.
They haven't traded
Come on,
him.
Dre."
Unless they
He
traded
kept
him this
repeating
year.
the same thing as Kerr tried to talk to him one last time.
And he's already starting
said,
shit with the
"How am I
rookie
supposed to coach you,
reaction,
Dre?
bro. Like, what
I
the
told
fuck?"
you." Draymond was trying to control himself, but Kerr told him he wouldn't play again. That's when Draymond stood up and walked away from the huddle as Kerr said, "Okay, alright. Alright." Draymond went directly to the locker room, and Kerr had to take a sip of his water after all that yelling. As the fourth quarter began, Draymond came back to the bench in street clothes. The Warriors went on a crazy run after this, and Kerr explained what happened.
Yeah, we got into it obviously, and I took the timeout just because I thought we lost our focus there a little bit, and he made his decision to go back to the locker room to cool off, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
Would you have gone back to
him? No, he wasn't going back in.
Hi, I'm Clarissa. Using Premiere, I turned a year's worth of footage into a story. I dropped my clips into the timeline, color graded for a vintage vibe, added captions in seconds, and just like that, I had the perfect recap of my favorite moments.
I'm
your mother's friend with benefits.
Benefits?
Benefits.
Yeah, benefits.
With the credit.
That's how bad things got, and Draymond gave his input.
Temper spilled over, and I just thought it was best that I got out of it. I don't think there was a situation where it was going to get better.
What caused the argument?
Basketball. People lose their emotions sometimes. It happens. It is what it is. You're with people for a long time. There's a level of comfort, and shit happens. We move forward.
The funny thing is that this was the second straight game where Draymond left early. In a game against the Suns, he was ejected for this play right here. He disagreed with the call, saying this to the referees.
Bro, you pushed dude right in his back.
Basically, Draymond lost control of his emotions, which Kevin Durant can relate to. With 5 minutes left in the first, the Heat started doubling Durant. They tried to make him as uncomfortable as possible, and Hero decided to talk. That's when Durant turned the ball over and had this to say.
Bet, yay.
Hero tried to play it off by saying, "That's cool. That's cool." The Rockets ended up challenging the play and actually got the ball back. Hero kept going at Durant and this happened. Durant responded by calling him a pussy, but Hero stood up for himself. He said, "Shut your ass up. Ain't nobody worried about you. Ain't nobody worried about you. Ain't nobody worried about you. Show me what's up." Durant started pointing fingers, so Hero replied, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about?" That's when Durant went all in. The refs decided to call double text, but this is exactly what we want to see on the court. Durant couldn't believe Hero was talking this much, so he immediately responded with a 3. Of course, he had to let Hero know as the two kept talking. Hero ended up scoring on Durant and the Heat bench was loving it. They tried to get in Durant's head, but he wasn't going for it.
Tell him, KD, tell him.
I'm not exactly sure who Durant was talking to here, but he clearly didn't like what was said. Just a few minutes later, he hit a 3 over Hero and said, "You a pussy." That's how fueled up Durant was, but the Heat ended up with the win. The two shook hands after the game and Durant explained the interaction.
I just think we both needed a little jolt of energy to start the game. Those words, this is words at the end of the day. We ain't do nothing too much, you know, it wasn't too physical on our end. I'm mad we got text though. We didn't even push each other or do nothing, it was just talk.
So who we playing?
Local crew. They haven't lost since 1996.
Jack Beckham.
Didn't matter who showed up.
Bro, this is weird.
They owned that pitch.
No, 30 years later.
They say Zidane didn't speak for a week.
2016.
It's really one of those places that shines bright because of the people who they have.
Basically, Durant tried to downplay everything that happened, but not every player does the same. When it came to Klay Thompson, he kept the same energy when the Grizzlies tried to disrespect the Mavericks.
Why people keep
With
trying
3
Klay
minutes
like
left
he
in the
not like
third,
that?
Santi Aldama was hustling for a loose ball. He got tied up with Cooper Flag, so he tripped him. Cooper wasn't happy, saying, "Come on, bro." There was clearly some intent, and Klay Thompson came to defend him. However, Aldama wasn't worried. Both had to be separated, and Aldama just kept laughing at him. He also told Klay that he's funny, and Ja Morant intervened. He shouted something from the bench, and the tension was on. After Klay missed the game-time 3, Ja mocked him with a thumbs down. Then, after the game concluded, he said this to Klay. Ja kept pointing at Klay, so he smacked his hand away. Still, Ja had more to say. For context, these two share a history in the playoffs, so Klay went all in during his post-game interview.
And then with Ja, he's a funny guy. He has a lot to say all the time, especially for a guy who rarely takes accountability. It's funny to run your mouth when you're on the bench. It's kind of the story of his career so far, just leaving us wanting more. When you're a star, it comes with a great responsibility. I hate to see that go to waste.
Clearly, these two couldn't stand each other, just like Luka Doncic and Chris Dunn. These two have such a long rivalry, and things carried into a November matchup. With 3 minutes left in the fourth, Dunn threw an elbow at Luka. Many people thought it was a flop, but Luka thought otherwise. He ended up confronting Dunn, and things got heated.
Look, I ain't gonna lie, you should have pushed him there. Oh yeah, Jackson Hayes.
Basically, Dunn thought Luka was overreacting, saying, "Stop f***ing flopping, b***." However, Luka wasn't bothered. Jackson Hayes also had some words for Dunn, calling him a pussy. As they were heading to the bench, more words were said. You can tell these two teams still hate each other, but not every player can back up what they say. In a game against the Pistons, Paolo Banchero got a little bit too cocky. With 2 minutes left in the second, he took Tobias Harris one-on-one. A foul was called and Harris didn't like it. He thought Paolo was flopping for calls, but
Buddy, you slapped his whole arm.
Cocky.
What you mean
With
flopping?
2 minutes left in the second, he took Tobias Harris one-on-one.
Gang, you can't slap a whole dude in his arm and say flopping. What are we saying? You fouled him.
A foul was called,
Are we
and
that
Harris
slow?
didn't like it. He thought Paolo was flopping for calls, but he fired back. Harris thought Paolo was getting ahead of himself, resulting in this back and forth.
And got a triple-double watch. He's got...
I know some of you thought Harris called Paolo a loser, but this angle shows otherwise. Anyways, double technicals were called, and Paolo said... Now, the funny thing is that Paolo missed both free throws after this exchange. He couldn't back up his trash talk, and Harris was fired up. He kept going at Paolo, even called him a bum at one point. In the end, Harris dropped 23 points, and the Pistons cruised to a 19-point win. Now, let's talk about the time Nikola Jokic had enough of the Oklahoma City Thunder. It started in the first quarter after he elbowed Shea on a drive. It honestly wasn't that bad of a foul, but Shea decided to throw the ball at him. Jokic immediately begged for a tech, and Shea was pissed. He said, "He pushed me. He pushed me. He pushed me. He pushed me after the whistle. He pushed me after the whistle." Surprisingly, the ref stood 10 toes down and didn't call anything beyond the tech on Shea. However, here's when things really get heated. As Jokic was walking up the floor, Lou Dort purposely tripped him. I don't know exactly why he did it, but it was clearly a dirty play. Jokic had to stand up for himself and said, "F you doing?" He clearly didn't like the foul, but
family drama.
J. Will defended Dort. Jokic tried to push him away, but J. Will held onto his jersey. He wouldn't let go, so Jokic said, "Do something. Do something. I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here." The two were eventually separated, but I've never seen Jokic this mad before. I mean, just look at his face right now. Dort really did too much with that play, and Jokic talked about it after the game.
I'm not mad at Jokic,
It is what
though,
it is,
bro.
you know, I'm not going to comment on
This
it.
man Lou Dort plays dirty, and he just got traded, bro.
Unnecessary move and unnecessary reaction. There is no such a thing. I think they're not supposed to be those things in a basketball floor, so it was just an unnecessary move and unnecessary reaction by me.
The funny thing is that Dort got him once again and even had to apologize for his actions. That's how bad things got, but it doesn't compare to what PJ Washington said to Jackson Hayes. With 6 minutes left in the fourth, the Mavericks tried to start a comeback. They drew up a play for PJ Washington, and LeBron immediately asked for the switch. Jackson Hayes had to guard him, and PJ took advantage. Just 2 minutes later, Hayes was in the same exact position since PJ blew past LeBron. He tried to go for the steal, but PJ drew another foul. That's when this happened. Hayes thought PJ had no room to talk and said this. The funny thing is that PJ ended up missing the free throw and more words were said.
Still got 4:51 to go.
The ref thought things were getting out of hand, but PJ said, "Yeah, that's my dog, we good." It was all love between the two, although PJ didn't have to say all that. Now, it's one thing having two players calling each other out, but a fan telling you to shut up, that's pretty crazy to do, and Dillon Brooks had to respond back. In a game against Miami, Brooks was complaining a lot to the referees. He thought Miami was getting a favorable whistle and a fan had to intervene.
Sit down, Brooks. Shut up. Your ass. Your ass. Shut up. Fight to your girl about it, not me.
It's funny how this fan acted like a victim when he literally started the whole thing.
How much you got? How much you got? Let's see.
It's funny how this fan acted like a victim when he literally started the whole thing. However, there's times where players could get their feelings hurt, and Ja Morant might have just fell for the bait. In a game against the Wizards, he heard a heckler saying all kinds of things, and let's just say that Ja didn't appreciate what was said.
Ja can't handle the fans. Yeah, buddy. Get some buckets first. Get some buckets. John, you got your coach fired to be a playing team. To be a playing team. Morant can't handle adversity.
I know this is a Wizards fan talking, buddy. Just sit this one out. Your team hasn't made the playoffs since John Wall. Or actually, I might be wrong. Russell Westbrook. What was that? Long time ago. Your team is trash, buddy. I mean, now they look comp, but still, you can't talk shit here.
Just like in the playoffs.
For some reason, Team Moran decided to get involved, which led to a confrontation.
What is
Bro,
AI's
you're a Wizards fan
responsibility
talking, bro. Y'all are trash.
to people?
Y'all haven't been good in forever.
What will you be remembered for when you build this?
It's been like 5 years, bro. I'm not even serious. It's been like 5 years since they've been decent, but they haven't been good since 2016.
You're talking to a fan. You're talking to a fan. Hey, you're talking to a fan. Where you at? You're talking to a fan, buddy. You're John's dad. I respect that, but you don't gotta come up to me. I'm talking game. He's talking to me. You're talking to me. Yeah, you need to go. Come on, man. You're doing the most, buddy. You're doing the most.
They're literally yelling, buddy.
You're doing the most. Go sit down, buddy.
And you talking crazy.
I'm not
when
gonna
he's
lie,
walking
I don't
away,
think
you
his dad
pussy.
had to intervene, but Ja had some final words.
Send her to hell. Send her to hell.
The crazy thing is that the Wizards somehow won this game, so maybe the fan had a point. Now let's talk about the time Russell Westbrook completely embarrassed Chris Dunn. With 40 seconds left in the fourth, Nick Clifford hit a dagger 3 for the Kings. Russell Westbrook was pumped and actually gave Chris Dunn a slight shove. He also told him to pick the ball up, which Dunn didn't like. He said all kinds of things to Westbrook, and this happened.
For Benedict.
Dunn kept warning Westbrook to stop talking to him and even called him a pussy. Of course, Westbrook wasn't going to let that slide and things got intense. A technical foul was given only to Westbrook, which he couldn't believe. He thought Dunn started the whole thing and that he had a right to talk back. Still, the refs didn't buy it and rewarded the Clippers with a technical free throw. Westbrook tried to punk Dunn with a stare down and called him sorry for a second time. Dunn replied that he wasn't worried about him, which is when Westbrook had enough.
Now think about it, DeMar
As
not
you
even in the
heard,
King
Dunn
anymore.
tried
What
to
team he gonna
escalate
go
things
to?
even
Plus, what team
further,
Russ
so
gonna
Westbrook
go to,
replied,
man?
"Try me. Try me. You ain't trying shit. Go sit your bum ass down. Sit your bum ass down. F are you talking about?" Dunn couldn't really say much back, even though Westbrook was still upset about the tech. In other words, these two hate each other, which is exactly how Karl Anthony Towns feels about Draymond Green. With 11 minutes left in the fourth, Draymond literally fell on a fake. He tried to stop the play, so he grabbed Towns and
alright,
tripped him.
Draymond, come
That's a
on,
pretty
gang.
dangerous foul, so
Why?
Towns yelled.
What is that?
Miles McBride also agreed, but Draymond replied, "It's just a foul." I don't know about
Buddy,
that
you
one,
tripped his whole
Draymond, but
foot.
the
You
refs
could've-
ended up calling a flagrant one. Towns went up to shoot the technical free throw, and this happened. Classic Draymond right here, but there's more. While the Warriors were challenging a call, he
the
told
hell is
OG Anunoby he stopped his shit. Of course referring to Towns, who immediately hopped in the conversation. He told Draymond, "You haven't said shit all game." "Yeah, right. Doing all that front running, what are you doing?" Clearly Towns felt some type of way, so Draymond started jumping around when he went to the bench. Steph Curry was
he's
loving it,
snorting.
and of course Jimmy Butler had to laugh as well. The Warriors came out with the win, and Draymond kept trolling Towns in his podcast.
One thing Karl Anthony Towns can't do is call me a front runner. His voice changes too much to call someone a front runner because we don't really know which cat we getting. I was talking the whole game.
I'm not gonna lie, that's a crazy comment by Draymond, but this is expected. This beef has been going on for a while, but at least it didn't escalate to a near brawl. In a game between Houston and Denver, Bruce Brown was this close to throwing hands with Kevin Durant. It all started in the third quarter after Brown missed a wide open three. KD waved him off, basically saying he can't shoot. Just a play later, Brown scored a floater, so he got right into Durant's face.
I promise
That's
you,
when
bro.
things got intense.
That's all I see Bruce Brown do. Them nice little floaties.
Tim Hardaway also had some words for Durant as they were being separated. Right after the timeout, KD called Brown a p*** several times. This is the moment where Brown felt disrespected, leading to his post-game comments.
Some words were said that's a little disrespectful, so. As a man, there's certain things you don't say to another man. I wish there was fighting. I wish we didn't get fined. Would have had some fun.
In other words, Brown thought Durant crossed the line, but the tension continued. After Reed Sheppard drew a foul on Brown, Durant had some words from the bench. Brown decided to talk back, which is when Durant said this. Clearly Durant wasn't worried about Brown, and even Tim Hardaway tried to instigate something. Durant wasn't bothered, however, and just clapped in his face. Even Udoka tried to cool him off, and Durant said this. Definitely one of Durant's funniest moments, but he kept taunting the Nuggets. Not only that, but after David Alderman got ejected, Durant mocked him. He also did this celebration to the crowd as the Rockets came out on top. When asked about the confrontation with Brown, Durant said this.
Was there anything that you said that you felt like wasn't crossing a line?
I definitely wanted to cross the line tonight.
Yeah.
That's basketball. It's in between the lines. Ain't no respect, ain't no love, nothing. And people don't show love to me, they cross the line a lot with their physicality. You know what I'm saying? It's part of the game. Some people can talk and play, some people can't. So I think Bruce is probably learning the same thing.
If you're serious about an automotive career, Universal Technical Institute helps you.
Basically, Durant stood by what he said, but Isaiah Stewart almost took things to another level. With 2 minutes left in the third, Stewart tried to make a move. Portis accidentally slapped him across the face, which Stewart took personally. He got right in front of him, and Portis said, "What? What?" Stewart tried to escalate things even further, but Portis smacked his knuckle away. Both had to be separated, and Stewart was pissed. Coach JB Bickerstaff tried to cool him off, but Stewart wasn't done talking. This would actually be a pretty good fight, so let me know who you guys got. Anyway, Stewart got ejected from the game, with Portis laughing it off. However, that didn't last too long. Just 3 days later, a Pistons fan reminded him about Stewart, and Portis had enough.
Stu's about to come in. They just stared into my soul. What? No, ain't nobody staring at you. You staring at Stu. You staring at Stu.
Clearly Portis had an issue with Stewart because the fan didn't even say anything crazy.
Yeah.
Definitely a wild turn of events, but not as crazy as when Jake LaRavia humiliated an entire NBA team.
Bro,
this
don't get me
came in a game
this
against
dude,
Minnesota where he dropped 27 points on
Yeah, shit,
91%
fake
from the
stats,
field. You don't see
Had
stuff
a nice
like this
game,
pretty
didn't do shit in
often,
the
so
playoffs,
Anthony
bro.
Edwards tried to get in his head. He called him all kinds of names, but it just didn't work. After making his fifth three, LaRavia stared at Edwards and said, "I'm ass." It was one of those
Yes.
nights, and even the fans tried
Yes.
to get answers. The fact that you could hear all of this is hilarious, and LaRavia had to clap back on social media. He was clearly feeling himself, which is the
So
complete
garbage
opposite
now,
of DeMar DeRozan. He thought Pelle Larson was doing too much and almost risked it all. With 6 minutes left in the second,
What team
Larson
did
was
DeMar
looking
go
to make a
to?
drive, but DeRozan shoulder checked him. A foul was called, and DeRozan was pissed. According to a fan in the arena, he actually called Larson a flopping bitch. Bam Adebayo heard this and quickly backed up his teammate. Even Myron Gardner got involved, but DeRozan and Westbrook weren't going for it. Bam was still trying to get an explanation, and the tension continued. Right after, Bam kept going and said, "That's my guy." God damn, DeMar. However, DeRozan immediately clapped back. In other words, DeRozan thought they were doing too much, so the referees held a review. A technical foul was ultimately called on DeRozan, but things escalated in the final minute. With frustrations boiling over, DeRozan gave Larson another hard foul.
Damn.
This time, he hit him across the face, and Larson didn't let this one slide. He confronted DeRozan, who replied, "What's up? Do something. Do something. Do something. Do something." Malik Monk also stepped in, telling Larson, "Don't f***ing do that shit. Don't f***ing do that shit." Larson believed it wasn't a basketball play, but DeRozan called him a bitch. He told him that it was just a foul, as Larson kept telling the refs, "That's not a basketball play." Another review was held, and DeRozan's foul was upgraded to a flagrant one. Gardner was loving it on the bench as the Heat came out on top. However, that right there didn't go as viral as when Draymond Green tried to bully Victor Wembanyama. With 7 minutes left in the third, Draymond took Wemby one-on-one but got blocked twice. Draymond thought there was some contact, so he yelled at the referees. He said, "That's a foul. That's a foul." Wemby started laughing as Draymond kept yelling, "Exactly. Exactly." Wemby couldn't believe the refs were letting this slide, so he said, "You're not gonna give him a tech?" However, Draymond got his get back in the fourth. This time, he actually blocked Wemby. A loose ball foul was called, and Draymond stared him down. He was trying to get in his head, so he had some words. Then, as the ball was being inbounded, they both got tangled up. Draymond told the refs "we good," while Wemby said, "I don't care." He didn't mind the physicality resulting in this play.
In his face. Imagine if you just called Wemby trash, Draymond. Let's be for real.
You can tell Wemby was waiting for this moment, but the basket unfortunately didn't count. This was Draymond's fourth foul, and he quickly picked up another one in the following play. Draymond couldn't believe it, saying, "You're trash." He kept chirping towards the Spurs bench, and Wemby explained the interaction.
It's not trying to prove anything to anybody. It's just, for me at least, somebody speaks to you a certain way, you have to respond a certain way. That's just how it is.
Basically, Wemby wasn't scared of Draymond. He knew what type of player he was, so he let his game do the talking. Dillon Brooks tried to do the same thing against Philadelphia, but he couldn't control himself against Joel Embiid. With 30 seconds left in the second, Embiid drew a foul on this play. Brooks thought he was flopping since he had also done this earlier. He couldn't believe the whistle and said this.
"Honesty has always been our policy, but the choir's new.
You have farmers. Bum, ba, dum, bum, bum, bum.
Kids don't just walk into school. They make an entrance. Like me at Kohl's.
Get this corny shit off my screen.
Devin Booker also confronted Embiid about the play, saying, "Doing all that shit, that's all ball."
Booker, you
"That's
do that
all
too.
ball." Embiid replied, "That's a foul. That's a foul." The whistle kept going in Embiid's favor, and Brooks couldn't believe it. Even the refs had to intervene, but Brooks didn't care. It's funny how Embiid really tried to get him a tag, but things kept intensifying. With Philly up 9, Embiid took Brooks one-on-one and made a tough shot over him. He taunted Brooks right after, pretty much saying he stinks. Embiid also pointed at the scoreboard, which motivated Brooks. He tried to start a comeback, making this and-one over Embiid. The lead was cut to 7 with 1:30 left, and Brooks said this to Embiid. In other words, Brooks couldn't stand Embiid, and the Suns kept the momentum. Brooks was able to get a stop on Embiid, and Devin Booker drew a foul on the other end. Trent and Watford noticed the banter and exchanged words with Brooks. The lead was now cut to 4, but Maxey made a huge 3 for Philly. The Suns quickly inbounded the ball, and Booker somehow drew this foul. He got 3 free throws, and Watford kept talking to Brooks. Brooks really doesn't care who you are and tried to get one last stop for Phoenix. He played really tight defense on Maxey, but Booker picked up a foul last second. Brooks couldn't believe it, and more words were said.
So plenty of time for Phoenix. more stops if you're the Sixers.
Hey, they made it out the first round, so you can't talk shit. Your team got swept, buddy. Now they
Brooks
about to win
also
the chip
told
next year.
Embiid that he wasn't going to get the ball. He tried to keep the physicality, but Embiid fell. The refs called the foul on Brooks, and Maxey was loving it. That's how petty this game was, and the Sixers came out with the win. Brooks is definitely a character, just like Musa Diabate. In a game against the Celtics, he warned Jason Tatum to not mess with him. With 10 minutes left in the second, Miles Bridges drew a foul on this play. You can see Tatum laughing about it, but he quickly changed his mind. If you know Joe Mazzulla, he hates when players get extra shots after the whistle. Tatum noticed Diabate trying to get a shot up, so he swatted him twice. Nothing too crazy, but here's when things get heated. After Keita cleaned up the glass, Tatum tried to smack the ball away from Diabate. He also shoved him, so Diabate replied, "Boy, I'm gonna beat your I'm gonna beat your." Tatum didn't seem too worried, so they just ran back to the other end. That's when Tatum started holding Diabate and a double foul was called. Diabate didn't like where this was heading and said this. Sam Hauser tried to separate Tatum, but he just replied, "I'm good." Diabate still couldn't believe the call on the floor and said this.
Oh, we gotta see what happened here.
With that in mind, Charles Lee challenged the play, and after further review, Scott Foster made the call. Tatum was the only one given the foul, as they concluded that he started pretty much everything. However, that right there wasn't as comical as what Kevin Durant said to some Pistons fans. With 2 minutes left in the fourth, Durant drew a foul on this play. He had some words for Scott Foster right after, and this Pistons fan noticed it. That's when he decided to heckle Durant, who didn't take it lightly. He said, "Get off my my boy. Stop hanging on my." However, the Pistons fan continued and things got intense.
Come on, Brady! He didn't foul you! Ball on! He didn't foul you! Hey, he didn't foul you! That's all I'm saying!
Durant really lives for these moments, but it didn't stop there. With 8 minutes left in the fourth, another altercation broke out. This time, it was between Jabari Smith and Ron Holland. They got tangled up on a jump ball, and Jabari wouldn't let go. He even tried to take the ball away, which Holland took exception to. Cade Cunningham told him to stop, but had some choice words for Jabari. Cade also told Scott Foster, "Tell him to go over there." He thought Jabari was doing too much, and Isaiah Stewart seemed to agree. He told him to go back out there, while a Pistons assistant coach kept yelling, "Get the f*** out of here." Basically, the whole team stood up for Holland, and Jabari received a technical foul. He tried to argue with the referees, but Stewart just told him to shut up. Holland also tried to start a fight, saying, "I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here." Jabari, however, didn't back down. Holland thought Jabari was all talk, so he called him a p*** from far away. Then, after a timeout was called, Stewart told Jabari that he'll beat his ass if he keeps talking. Jabari replied with "do it then," as they were being separated. Now, here's when Kevin Durant got involved. After both players got tangled up again, a fan said something out of line to Jabari. Durant heard it and confronted the fan. Then, after a play was being reviewed, Durant explained why he felt that way.
So, what do we think?
Are there any synergies?
What are the benchmarks?
It still has to go through market research.
It needs a good name.
It has a name, Gerald. Any other obvious questions?
Nope. Great.
The King Kylie collection, only at Dunkin'.
Bro.
Pens?
Legends throwing like 8 ads at me today,
Only
bro.
Puffs has more pillowy
I know you gotta
softness
make that
every
money,
nose
but damn.
needs.
The funniest thing about this is how the fan never put on his Durant jersey again. Just goes to show there's levels to this, which is what Bruce Brown tried to imply to DeAndre Ayton. This came after Brown blew past him and drew a foul on this play. Ayton thought there was barely any contact, which is when Brown said this. That's actually a crazy thing to say, and the back and forth continued. While Brown was getting ready to shoot his second free throw, this happened. The fact that Ayton is the one saying that is hilarious since he could also be on his way out. Brown definitely has something against the Lakers, but at least he didn't cross the line like Goga Bitadze. With a minute left in the third, Bitadze picked up a foul on this play. He thought it was a clean strip, but Luka went to the line for two. He ended up missing the first free throw, and Goga started mocking him, trying to get in Luka's head, which is when he replied, "Suck my pussy." I like it. Apparently Goga misinterpreted what Luka said and thought he called out his mom. It's not entirely clear with the lip reading provided, but maybe he said it right here. We just can't confirm it, but that's when Goga had enough. Now, this actually translates to I f*** your whole family. At this point, Luka thought he went too far and immediately let the refs know. The crazy thing is that Goga kept insulting Luka while the Magic bench begged for a delay of game. Luka chirped right back and said, "He can't talk about my family." He ended up making the second free throw and had more words for Goga. He said, "I'll f*** you up, motherfucker. Don't mention my family again." The refs didn't know what was going on, so they handed out double texts. Both were just as surprised, but Luka kept explaining himself, letting everyone know that he had a right to defend himself, but the refs didn't want to hear it. This was also Luka's 16th technical foul, which equaled a one-game suspension.
It got rescinded.
Many people wanted more context on the situation, so Luka said this after the game.
He said a free throw, he will fuck my whole family.
But then motherfucker got it back
at some point,
like 2 games later. He got suspended.
At some point, I just can't stand. I gotta stand up for myself. But I know I gotta do better. My teammates, I know they have my back, so I let them down today. But I hopefully get rescinded.
Well, the rest in here, what language did you say?
It was in Serbian.
It's actually crazy that Goga really said that, but he thought Luka had it coming. He interpreted that he called out his mom, but like I said earlier, that's not 100% confirmed. It could have been said in this moment, but it's not for sure. However, Goga actually has a history of going at people's families. About a year ago, he got into it with Pascal Siakam, and this happened.
What the? Alright, bro. Now you talking too crazy.
Definitely not a good look for Goga, since he literally mentioned that family is sacred. The league ended up rescinding Luka's 16th technical foul, while Goga has received heavy criticism by the fans. Now, there's no better way to finish this video than with the time Lu Dort tried to sun Jeremiah Fears.
Damn.
With 30 seconds left in the fourth, the Pelicans scored a quick bucket in the paint. They cut the deficit to 7, so Fears quickly fouled Shea. Dort thought the push was unnecessary, so he let Fears know. I couldn't exactly get the conversation, but you can see them chirping right here. Anyways, play resumed, and the Pelicans tried one last time to score. After 3 chances, Fears got the offensive rebound and Dort wrapped him up. Fears didn't like it, and Dort said, "Watch out, watch out." That's when Fears got in his fighting stance, and Dort grabbed his jersey.
Damn.
It looked like Fears was fighting for his life, but he replied with a "F you" to Dort. He also ripped the tape on his shoulder and kept chasing him. Dort saw this and just said, "I told you." Security also intervened, but Fears said, "Let me go." He didn't get his wish, so Fears kept insisting in the locker room. I'm not gonna lie, Zion is a real one for looking out for his teammate, but Fierce had more to say. Right when he got on his phone, he commented that Lu Dort was soft and that he knows Dort isn't like that. He really doesn't fear anyone since he's the same guy that told Jimmy Butler, am I supposed to flinch? Butler did say that nobody's scared of him, but you get the point. Fierce is always ready for whatever, so expect him to keep being like this. And that pretty much concludes the video. What do you guys think of how this regular season played out? Which heated moment was your favorite? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I hope everyone has a great day. Peace out.
Damn, that shit was long as hell. Damn, what was your favorite moment, man? Shit, I don't know which one's mine. It's gotta be. I don't know, bro. There's a lot of fun moments. Damn, I can't believe you didn't put that fight in there, though, bro. But hey, man, that's the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, 10 person, make sure to miss a vid. Greatly appreciate it. Till next time, I'm out.